What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about Virgin and Galactic. I want to go over some of the current data points, what's been really moving it, and some key levels to watch for. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So I don't do that many Virgin videos, but honestly, my video last time when it was kind of beginning of January, roughly around this price point, nothing has fundamentally changed since then. And so I still do believe that Virgin right now is a screaming opportunity to buy. And so it recently did have a low of 234. And that's largely just because the market is kind of pivoting to more risk off. This week, we do have a lot of good opportunity for that narrative to change. But right now, a lot of this is unjustified, and shorts have been kind of stepping up their game. So I'll kind of talk on that in a second. But for today, we did have a couple data points. We had ADP coming in at 10.2, and then the New York State Manufacturing Index coming in at 7.1. Both absolutely phenomenal. And so that ADP kind of broke the 3 or 4 consecutive consolidations for reports. And then the New York manufacturing signals that there's greater expansion occurring than what was forecasted. So again, both are fairly good. Coming from Virgin though, there really hasn't been that much in updates. And so ultimately, my last video, like I said, nothing really has changed. Their earnings, which hasn't been announced yet, is estimated to be roughly around the 27th. Because that's historically where they kind of do it, between like the 27th or 25th and 27th roughly. But their earnings is going to be that next big catalyst, only because, no different than last earnings in November, the bar is always set so low for Virgin, and largely what the market looks at is its future guidance. So even though their top and bottom line could be easily beat, it is going to come down to their future guidance. So for instance, right now, earnings per share, negative 107, and then 412.5 thousand for the revenue estimate. Over the last 90 days, you have 5 positive, 0 negative revisions to the earnings per share. So even though we haven't received that much in new analyst ratings, analysts behind the scenes are becoming a little bit more optimistic. So again, this kind of spins a little bit more of a different narrative than what is truly happening. And a lot of that is because of shorts. So even just quickly looking right here, last trading day was on the 13th. We did have about 359,000 associated to shorts. 940 was the overall volume. Day prior, 563, 1.06 million for the total volume. So shorts consistently, like for the last almost year, make up for a good chunk of the daily volume, as high as 60%. So in reality, if Virgin hits a home run, incentivizes some institutions to get in, that will be a natural deterrent for shorts to F off. I'm saying that in a nice way, of course. But their earnings, as you can kind of see right here, even though like everything, like whenever Virgin gives good future guidance, the stock does run up. So you can kind of see this column right here, 1 day move. Last earnings, it went up 10.8%. And then the last time they gave good future guidance, it went up 43.2%. So in reality, their upcoming earnings could be a pretty good catalyst, in my opinion. So don't listen to kind of the narrative that's happening in the broader market, and don't just pay attention to the fact that Virgin is going down. So over the last 5 days, or I guess over the last month more so, down 17.82%. I still do believe that this is a very good opportunity to buy. So their upcoming earnings, again, hasn't really been announced officially yet, but roughly about 13.09% is the implied move, and that's like a 34-cent move in either direction. Historically, we can kind of see in 2025 it was on February the 26th, then we do have February the 27th, February the 28th, so it is going to be roughly within that time frame, so next week. So again, maybe this is a good opportunity to kind of load the boat. Regarding options, we are seeing still fairly low volume, unfortunately, and that's been a very common scenario for a while now, but you do see a lot more optimism for it to be roughly around $3. So it's not just me kind of just pointlessly talking. Big money, or I guess some money. I wouldn't say that's big options activity, but some individuals do clearly agree that it should be above 3 in the foreseeable future. Just regrettably, we're not seeing any major institutional transactions. So even on Friday, there was absolutely none. And it's been quite some time since we've actually seen any large institutional transactions above $100,000. Doesn't mean that Virgin isn't a buy. So largely just big money is kind of sheep, right? So you see a lot of big narratives in the broader market saying pivoting and all this other stuff. Sometimes if you go against the grain, that's how you make some very, very serious money. Right now with it at 256, it is trading between this S2 and this S3. So in comparison to a lot of other growth stocks, it has been hit quite hard. So 247 and then 267 is going to be the next strong support and target. So for those of you that want a dollar cost average, 247. If that does fail to break though, then this is where you could see that $1.92. It might coincide somewhat with just maybe their upcoming earnings again, but if it does get to that range, that would be absolutely insane of a deal. Even again, kind of bouncing back and forth, my apologies, but this section right here, that is the quantitative data. So shows valuation, growth, profitability, momentum, and revisions. Based on the quantitative data, it is 3.19. That is out of 5. So the things that are kind of lagging it down is profitability and momentum. And I think we can kind of all agree that that's accurate, but valuation is a B+. So despite everything at this price point, it is seen as a pretty good buying opportunity. Aside from that though, quickly popping back over here for a second on the actual chart itself, it is and has been flirting with that 10-day moving average, and generally that's a big deal for a lot of momentum stocks. One thing as well that I did kind of mention was that we were going to see this death cross. So the 50 and 200-day moving average kind of doing this death cross. Unfortunately, that did prompt a lot of algorithmic trading to really push it lower. So that is where the 50-day moving average, so this blue line, does cross below the 200. And so again, that's pretty much what kickstarted all of this sell-off. So again, possibly if you read between the lines, this was all very unjustified, but still 50-day moving average is going to be that big deal. That's currently sitting at 315 right now. Not really much is going on during the pre-market. A lot of just reactions to geopolitical issues in all fairness, but market's going to be opening in about 5 minutes, give or take. So just watch for a lot of those support points. And like I mentioned, this might be a pretty good opportunity to buy. But no matter what, you do whatever floats your boat. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. Most recently, big hit was ZIM. So this stock I did signal as a buy at $12.50. And so I initially gave a $19 price target, recently did amend that to $25. And during the pre-market, it is sitting at pretty much $30. So again, this is maybe a good reason to pop over to the Patreon. Many of these types of kind of technical breakouts and so forth. So definitely worthwhile to check that out. With that said, appreciate all of you watching.